The first couple of years, 2 or 3 years, maybe I'd kind of look at it and see what my reviews were. And I saw some terrible ones and I saw some not so terrible, but I just kind of decided that it wasn't really worth it for me to follow that so I don't really pay attention to it anymore. I don't have a high opinion on it as really being valuable for faculty to read, even though most of us are curious. I think for students, it's less academically valuable, and it serves more as an indication of how easy a class is, or maybe how entertaining a class is. This says, excellent teacher of the material, isn't a blow-off class, so you must study, but he doesn't try to trick you on tests or ask anything that he didn't cover. Is interesting in lecture and does not try to convey that one religion is better than others. Study in all capital letters and you make a good grade. That's a pretty nice review. That's pretty encouraging and something that, you don't feel bad about reading, and you enjoy the fact that people do come out of it appreciating it. The material for this class is very interesting. A lot of the time it is about sex, which is pretty funny. He can get a little bit boring a lot of the time. Study really hard for the tests and go into a lot of detail on the papers. Gives points away for some things, but it's hard to get an A. That's amusing. Sex and sexuality, again, I think that religion and sexuality are very interconnected, and it's not just trying to, sort of amuse or titillate the students, but trying to make some deeper connections about how religions try to regulate and to in some ways prohibit and define what it means to have sex, to be sexed persons, and when and where it's okay to reproduce. World religions, again, this is a very hard class. This is the only C I've gotten in college. You have to write everything out on the tests. He is also very boring. Don't read any of the books or you'll be wasting your time. Wasting is spelled W-A-I-S-T-I-N-G, which is always amusing. None of the material will be on the test. The tests are all lecture. Obviously not a happy person. That equation of, liking the course being a good course with it being easy or getting a good grade. I mean, that's so common, especially for the lower level classes. I'm not a morning person, and I had this class at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was never bored. He always made time for questions and discussions. His assignments and papers are easy if you have half a brain and can study for his class 1 hour and 30 minutes a week. You rock, Dr. Crockett! Exclamation mark. And again, those are always nice to see and nice to get. So at least somebody's happy, right? Theories of religion. This is one of my upper level courses. Do not take this man. He is a great guy, but a horrible teacher. I have taken every professor in UCA's religious studies department, and he is by far the worst teacher there. His lectures have no organization. So if you like confusion and inconsistent grading, then take Dr. Crockett. It's interesting how some students really like and appreciate the styles of different faculty, professors in the department, and some more than others. And so, you're going to have your people that enjoy it and people that don't. He sucks. He is hard and grades incredibly hard. Do not take him, in all caps. Exploring Religion is a general education course, and he graded the papers like we actually cared about the bizarre religions he talked about. Bizarre here is spelled B-A-Z-A-A-R rather than B-I-Z-A-R-E. So a religious bazaar is a different kind of a thing, like a market where people try. Anyway, that's kind of interesting. Any other religion professor would be better than him. Sort of telling when they complain about them being hard, and then telling when they make grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes and confusion of terms when they're complaining about it, because it's harder. Well, I guess it's easier to dismiss them. No, I don't want to dismiss them, but it's easier to dismiss them. I really love this class. This is 1330, which is Exploring Religion. Crockett showed the class religion from a different standpoint. We did read a lot in the class, but the books were interesting. He was very nice and tried to help in every way possible. I highly recommend Crockett! Exclamation mark. I almost changed my major to religion because of this course. And then I'm like, darn, almost got one. But sadly, not quite. Need to do a little bit better, but that's nice. He's very abstract and hardly ever makes sense. I feel like I'm in a graduate school class instead of a freshman level class, ... You definitely have to put in a lot of time. I mean, I do try to challenge my students in all of my classes, and I don't apologize for that, even if they're general education or core classes. Take someone else. He doesn't teach on the level that he tests on. He writes random things on the board. He's a good guy, but the teaching could be a whole lot better. I wouldn't suggest him to my worst enemy. That's funny. I don't know. I kind of appreciate that. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Something. Dr. Crockett is the best professor you will ever have the opportunity of taking. Wow. He will teach you more than you can even imagine. Work hard and be ready to learn! He is happy to work with struggling students and is hilarious in lecture. That's really, really nice and rewarding. And again, the kinds of comments that you hope that you can stimulate in students and have them really appreciate. And sometimes they don't. And some students don't, get much out of a course, and some do. And sometimes you just don't know. And I've even had students come back, years after they graduated and told me that they really liked the course. Although I'm sure the ones that didn't like the course probably wouldn't come back. I was actually pleased with how positive they were, even though there were some negative ones. I was a little bit surprised that they were so good and so positive. And it's possible that I've gotten better more recently. Some of the earlier ones on there I remember were more critical, and I think I did struggle early on being clear with my expectations, being organized with my lectures and presentations, and even being sometimes a little bit too hard on the students. Oh, this is a tardigrade, or that's the technical term. It's also a water bear. So water bears are water-dwelling, 8-legged segmented micro animals, and they can survive in very extreme temperatures, pressures, deprived of air, radiation, dehydration, and starvation. They've been found in outer space, and they're really tiny. So you have to get microscopically enlarged. So in my religion, science, and technology class, as an icebreaker, I asked them what's their favorite non-human animal, and so they gave me different common animals, and I said a tardigrade, which I thought was cool. And again, UCA bears. So I was saying maybe we could be UCA water bears. That might be fun.